the site that I have so far. I had posted a couple of videos about it earlier. Um, as you can see, let me see where I put the folder. This is the mock-up that we had to go off of, and so we had kind of a small, medium, large layout for each of these pages that we had to do. And so this is my mobile, obviously, and this is the join page, and it worked out pretty well. Everything's lined up the best I could so far. And then when you drag it out to a mobile size, the content changes. I still need to figure out how to line these up, but everything else seems to be falling into place pretty good. And then when you get into the desktop layout, it continues to change so that the site is pretty responsive. The calendar page also worked out pretty well. I did something a little bit different for the calendar page. I noticed a lot of people, for the Join Us page, I basically used divs and Flexbox. I mean, it's mainly a form, so there's only so much you can do with it. For the calendar page, I did the entire thing with flex boxes, and I was actually pretty happy with my with the way it turned out. As you can see, this right here is the HTML for the calendar page. So I've got a different div for every single day of the month. And yes, I know that. Oh wait, never mind. Got the months wrong. Anyway, but yeah, I have a different box for every month. I've got or a different div for every month, and I've got a div inside that for the day, and then the number of the day actually sits inside that box. And I did the entire thing with flex boxes, and the entire calendar. The nav bar is set to a fixed width or a fixed height, so it stays pretty standard even as you scale. But the calendar did entirely with VH and VW, so it scales up to a very large size on the desktop view. So I actually like that. I think it's pretty fluid. I don't know if it's too big if it's a desktop view, but um, whatever. The CSS for it, I thought was kind of interesting. One of the things about the way that I did the calendar was I figured out what the width of the calendar background needed to be, and then made the width of each box proportional to that. And I did a flexbox row wrap so that it wrapped at exactly 7 days. So let me find where that is on here, and I'll show you what happens. So on the white boxes here, I have the width set to 13 viewport width, and that happened to be just enough based on the size to have it scale out to 7 days, so all 30 days or 31 days wrap around evenly. So, for example, if you take the 13 out and put, 10 or something, then the size of those boxes change to where it wraps around differently at 9. Of course, if you come in here and you change that to something larger like 18, then all of a sudden it's too big and it wraps at 5 instead of 7. So it's just kind of messing around with it and seeing what viewport width was the magic number to get it to wrap evenly at 7. And then I just put these on a different row because that was just easier. I was doing a content justify content center and align content center to get it in the middle of the page, and then obviously that didn't line up with that, so I just made those their own separate boxes. But yeah, I thought the solution to that was pretty neat. And of course the Join Us page, obviously I had to do that quite a bit differently than the calendar page, but all in all it was pretty responsive. I decided to go back and do the home page over. Obviously, I just got the raw content in here right now, but I realized through the process that starting with the smallest size seemed to work out the best, and then working my way up to the bigger ones. So when I did the home page, I actually did it differently, and I started with the desktop view, and it just didn't work out. So instead of trying to get it to work, I just thought it would be a lot simpler if I just started with the basics and go back starting from the beginning. I found this to be really helpful here as well when I was building in the mobile view. I defined the content body wrapper, which is just the outermost container that I have that wraps around the body and everything else, um, to a min height of 100 VH and then a max width of 100 VH, VW. And that seemed to keep all the content nicely inside the viewing window, so that I didn't have anything overlapping as I scaled up or down. So that saved me a lot of time doing that. Anyway, it's been a good project so far. I think I'll probably finish this up tonight, and maybe I can post another video of it. But anyway, if you have any feedback or anything else, just let me know. Thanks.